What made a Frankenstein origin story the right prequel subject for this?
I was approached by Jeremy and his partner Paul Anderson, who were the creators of the original remake, the Jason Statham movie, and they kind of presented me with an idea based on they wanted to do an origin story with Universal about the start of Death Race, and the one compelling character from not only from the Roger Corman version, but from Paul's version was Frankenstein. And there was a lot of mystery behind him, and we kind of gravitated to develop the story. I don't know, when I was approached, I thought an origin story should tell the origin of all the characters and the idea, and it kind of was a combination of the beginning of Death Race will be the beginning of who Frankenstein was. And because we don't really know anything about him from any of the previous movies. The only thing we knew was Jason Statham had assumed his identity in Paul's film. So I thought that there was a lot of potential to explore a kind of a legendary character who had never been explored before.
Now, Roel and Mike, this movie is really huge. I mean, it's every bit as big, if not bigger, than the original. I'm sure you guys had some limited resources in terms of budget, but how did you manage to put this thing together and make it look so epic?
Where's Mike?
Mike Evans, yeah. So by doing it smartly, and go to a place where you can shoot a lot of stuff with like a fast crew. We shot it in Cape Town, South Africa, and plan it wisely and smartly, and then push the limits, and then shoot it in 30 days, and for 1/10 of the budget of the original.
Yeah, Paul and I were told that, Roel told us that he could do 60 setups a day. I believe he did about 65, was that about right?
More 85?
I was going to say more than that.
Insane. Yeah, Paul and I do about 30 setups a day, so.
It was only 85 average.
Now,
that's Dickie Beer, guys, the stunt coordinator of this movie.
Now, Luke, you're inheriting sort of an iconic character, but obviously you're playing sort of a different version of him. What did you, if anything, take from the first movie, and then what did you want to bring to it yourself?
I think, like you say, there's a massive responsibility. I love what Jason did with the previous movie. I'm a fan of all of the things he does, actually. And the first movie, I think, is a mix like any cult movie. It's absolutely ridiculous and sometimes just genius. And because, like you said, there was unexplored areas, it gave me a lot of freedom to find, I think, more compassion. I didn't want to play him where he started out that way, at the risk of maybe being like, oh, come on, be a badass quicker. But I knew the payoff. I read the screenplay, which is one of the main reasons for doing this. And I thought, with my dear friend here, we got to gamble, I guess. This is about a show that is failing, and about a man who has lived his life with a set of ethics that go very badly. And so I had to, I guess, gamble and make him, humanize him for as long as possible, so that payoff at the end is like a genre, hopefully badass moment, which I think we did.
Yeah. Danny, you have some experiences that you can kind of relate, at least vaguely, in terms of being in prison. I'm wondering, in this film, maybe atypically from some of the roles that you played, you are kind of more benevolent. Sort of what about this character appealed to you, and what did you want to sort of bring to it?
Well, when I read the script, first of all, I noticed that it had, the 3 B's, and in order to make a good movie, you have to have the 3 B's. Babes, bullets, and blood. And then so it was, when we were there, it's like, we did some like consulting as far as prisoners went, Rule and I, and
Right.
you know, it came out pretty good. You know, I love the movie. You know, and it was a lot of fun to do.
And Robin, you're one of the few cast members who's been in both films. How do you manage to de-age yourself, if you will, to play this character? And how and how does the aesthetic compare? Because they seem very similar.
Well, you know, that's the amazing thing what Will did, because it did look similar. The first movie, of course, is much more grander. It's just everything was just so big, and Paul has created this world of like beyond future. So all the ways to track the prison, everything's just amazing. And what great thing Will did with this part two is to somehow take that and enhance it, or even detail, just fine tune it a little more. And that's why, you know, we get a little bit more a closer look at the prison, at the car, at the characters.
Now, Luke, you get two shots in the span of about 15 minutes, two awesome hero shots where you're basically walking away from really badass explosions. I was wondering, first of all, how close were you actually to explosions, given the fact that people can do CGI stuff in the background? And then, you know, Rule and Mike, like, how do you make sure that this guy looks appropriately badass at the beginning of this movie?
Well, firstly, we have a wonderful stunt coordinator who's a lunatic and crazy. A director that's nuts and a big kid. So I'm thinking, I'm going to be told something here. Whether I believe that or not is up to me. I just had the loudest explosion of my life when I walked away from that explosion on the bridge. And all I remember seeing is spots of gasoline hit the car and thinking, shit, I hope someone would grab me if something was flying towards me. And the other motivation was thinking, if I want an empty boob, I can't blink on this shit, so I better stay cool. Yeah, there was a few of those moments. I think for me, the payoff shot when he said the name is Frankenstein was a bit of a fanboy moment for me too. So I thank you for that, sir.
Cool. And also, I don't believe in CG kind of action for cars, especially. And I liked what Paul and Jeremy did with the first movie. It was real and felt like Mad Max, and it was all done in camera. So I wanted to do that also. So with all the stunts we did it for real. And I remember our conversation that I asked Luke, so what do you think about I Put You on Fire? You want to do that?
Do you remember my reaction?
Yes.
What was it?
Yes, please. And we did. We put them in that car, we put the car on a spit and we turned it around, upside down, and he's hanging upside down, and we put the car on fire.
I have to say, I've done prosthetics before in Hellboy 2 and Blade 2, and I'm somewhat prepared and I know what's ahead of me. But I have to be honest with you, that was probably the most, with the smoke, the fire, the prosthetics, the emotions, snot coming out my nose, tears. Without doubt, to date, is my most challenging thing I've ever filmed.
Cool.
See what I mean?